Hey everyone, I'm Aideen T. Finnola. I'm a Martha Beck trained life coach, a public speaker, and the author of my memoir called My Exquisite Purple Life: Insights from a Woman Who Never Should Have Made It But Did. Thank you for joining me for another segment of my video blog. And today I want to talk about triggers. I want to talk about what triggers are, why they're actually very helpful, and how you can handle them. So first of all, what are triggers? And the funny thing is that, so many of us, we all get triggered to one degree or another. But to break it down, a trigger is a stimulus that is linked to the memory of a negative experience. So it can be anything. So it's a stimulus, right? So it can be anything coming in from our five senses, something you see, something you hear. It can be a word, it can be a phrase, it can even be something you smell. If it is a fragrance that brings up a memory brings up the memory of a really negative experience, that can be a trigger as well. So why are triggers important and why are they actually helpful? Which is hysterical, right? Because we've all had that experience. I've had that experience so many times in my life of getting triggered, and I got to tell you, it is not an enjoyable experience at all. So why would I say that it's actually helpful? Well, it's helpful because in the same way that a physical wound uses pain to communicate a need for healing, a psychological wound also uses pain to communicate a need for healing. So imagine if we had physical wounds that we never felt the pain of. They would go untreated and they would go unhealed. And it's the same way with a psychological or an emotional or a spiritual wound. If we don't have something that draws our attention to that wound and gives us the opportunity to attend to that wound and to heal that wound, then we never get healed, right? And the pain that draws our attention to a psychological or an emotional or a spiritual wound is the process of getting triggered. And that's why it's actually so helpful. So what's the best way to handle it when you get triggered? Well, there's a really simple conversation construct that goes like this. I feel when you, because I need. And you're going to fill in those stated or those not stated blanks. So it goes like this. So when I I was raised in a religious cult and I suffered a lot of spiritual abuse, a lot of religious abuse in my childhood. And when I left the religious cult, oh my gosh, you guys, the triggers, because I was so deeply wounded and my wounds were deep and they were raw and they were horrible. And so if people, it was just the most innocent thing. Any kind of religious verbiage would completely send me over the edge. So just even someone saying like, oh, well, God bless you, have a great day, God bless, or, I'll pray for you, I would just lose my mind because it just brought up, it was a simple stimulus, right? And it was linked to the memory of a very negative experience that I had. And so it would bring up this wound and this pain. And so, but then there's that opportunity for healing, right? And here's the crazy thing. We're all responsible for our own healing. And the beautiful thing about it is that we are our own healers. We don't have to wait for anyone else to heal us. We have within us everything that we need to heal our own wounds, wherever and however badly we got those wounds and however deep they are. So take that example of someone saying, oh, I'll pray for you. And it doesn't trigger me anymore. But, back when it did. So I would say, I feel really triggered. I feel very angry when you are telling me that you're going to pray for me, because I come from a religious cult. I come from a background of extreme religious abuse. And when you say you're going to pray for me, I feel to me, it feels like it's condescending. It feels patronizing. you're not respecting that I'm not a religious person anymore. And I need you to understand my wound. And I need you to respect my wound. And I also need you to respect my preferences. So that's the healthy way to work that construct. So let me give you an example of the not healthy way to, within that construct. So it would be, I feel angry when you tell me that you are going to pray for me because you're being a condescending, patronizing asshole. And I need you just to go away and don't ever talk to me again. So that's not me taking responsibility for my own wound, right? That's me making someone else responsible for my wound. So I'm not saying I'm the one who has the wound. What I'm saying is, if you weren't such a jerk, I'm saying you're the problem. And I'm making the other person wrong. Besides the fact that it doesn't work and it's not going to affect any healing inside yourself, all you have done is to close off that wound again. You're not looking at that wound and you're not doing the healing work that that wound needs. You are also wounding the other person. And now we're just adding. And in our culture, in our world, we have enough wounds. And to the best of my ability, I really try not to add to anyone else's wounds. I'm not perfect in that, of course. I'm just a person, right? So, but I don't want to add to anyone else's wounds. And it's super important to me for me to heal my own wounds. And so taking responsibility for your wounds and doing the healing work is ultimately what's going to give you a better experience and is going to help you. And now you're not contributing to the pain of the world, right? So, hey, bonus there, right? So, if this really resonates with you and you're thinking, oh, I totally get this. I have a shit ton of triggers and I get triggered, and I feel lost and I don't know how to handle them. I'd love for you to go over to my website and take a look at all of my services and all of the work that I do. The thrust of the work that I do is helping my clients to reclaim their lives from their wounds, basically, right? And as a part of that, one of the services that I offer, if you're interested in finding out more about working with me as a life coach, I offer a complimentary discovery call. And you can schedule it directly on my website. And it's a half-hour phone conversation free of charge. And we'll get on the phone and you can ask me all the questions that you might have about life coaching. And I can hear more about what you're struggling with and what it is that you need help in reclaiming your life from. And we can get an idea if we're a good fit, because this is the work that I just gave you guys a really simple little tool, right? The I feel when you, because I need, that's really, really simple little tool. As a life coach, I have buckets and buckets and buckets of tools and exercises and practices that are all designed to help you to heal your wounds and to ultimately give you the empowerment to reclaim your life. So I would love to connect with you. If all of this is resonating with you, run over to my website, grab yourself a discovery call, and I can't wait to talk with you about it. And thank you so much for listening. If you really like this video and you want to share it, that would be absolutely awesome. Give it a thumbs up, pass it around. I don't know anyone out there who isn't triggered. Can't we all benefit from hearing about this, right? And learning how to handle this. So share it around. And thank you so much for listening. And I will see you next time. Love you. Bye.